I think I might be hypersexual. I, 19F, have been with my partner, 21M, for about a year and month. We just started living together a few months ago, and now I'm starting to realize I may have a problem. I feel like I'm always horny. There are a lot of girls who talk about doing the deed and how it always feels better for the man than it does the woman. But, I always crave his touch and his fingers in me or on me. I always crave him. He is a decent size down there and it has satisfied me from the very beginning and still does. He isn't the same as me. He doesn't really think about sex as much as I do, I can just tell. He is more tired than me most of time, but when he is ready to do he can go for a long time, finishing multiple times. I'm pretty sure he knows how I am, because sometimes I'll lay next to him, even though I think about it every night, and I'll start running my fingers along his skin, and kissing on him. Sometimes he responds in my favor, but sometimes he's just too tired. And I want to add that I would never make him do anything he wouldn't want to do, so I roll over and go to sleep. I would willingly give him head just about any time he ever asks me, and the only time I ever really told him no when he asks for sex was maybe once because I had the flu. Even when we don't have sex, I usually use my toys to satisfy myself on my own. I probably get pleasure once a day when it's not him, it's my vibrator. I don't think this really affects our relationship much, because I always end up satisfying myself either way, but I hope it doesn't become a problem in the future. I'm not completely sure if I'm hypersexual, but from what I feel, it really does seem this way. My husband left me for his coworker he's known for a week. We have been married 1 year together 5. Am I controlling? My soon-to-be ex-husband says that he's leaving me because I'm controlling. I think it has more to do with his coworker he's been sleeping with, but he denies it obviously. Anyways, I asked him how I am controlling and this was what he said. You ask me to get off my phone all the time. I only ask him when he won't stay off it while we were having us time or while he was spending time with the kids. I wouldn't let him buy things he wants. I've let him get anything he wants other than when we cannot afford it. He now added this new one since asking for a divorce. You won't stay off my case about me spending time without kids. And he claims he spends so much time with them even though since us splitting up he's been with his GF in person over half the time and then at work a lot of the other time. The little bit of time he's home with the kids he's either sleeping or texting his GF or calling her. So I get upset because I see it's affecting our 3-year-old son who continues to ask for daddy and when daddy will be home and can I play with daddy. When I mention this to his daddy I get called controlling and pushy and told that I'm lecturing him, and then I get yelled at and told to shut my mouth up. He has also claimed that this is the reason he's leaving because I just don't shut up and the girl he's with now is way better. I'm thinking of suing for full custody and alimony since I'm a stay-at-home mom and have been for over 3 years, and he also said he still wants me to homeschool. However, I feel like if I do that then I'll be an asshole for breaking our family up even more. Am I controlling and am I wrong for wanting full custody? My parents say they can't afford groceries. My parents say we have no money but they can spoil themselves. We have no money, but my parents just can't afford to get us enough groceries for full meals or get us insurance even though I have 13 cavities, need my wisdom teeth removed and have broken glasses frames. We just can't afford to fucking go anywhere because of the gas prices. But they can afford to go out every other night and buy themselves and only themselves fast food. They can afford to order themselves pizza and weed they stink up the house with, and they can afford to complain about rent prices but won't save their fucking money. And maybe I am just a teenager and maybe I don't get it yet and maybe I sound like a spoiled, conceited little brat. I found maggots in my underwear. I've never been the cleanest person, and I've always struggled with keeping my room tidy or bringing my dishes downstairs. After this absolutely life-altering event, however, I feel like scrubbing my entire room, the walls, the floors, the ceiling, my pillows all down with Lysol. So I have a vagina, and it's pretty normal to get discharged just randomly and it soils your underwear pretty bad. That stuff doesn't really come off in the wash, so I personally hand wash my underwear when I'm taking my showers. However, because I have such a habit of throwing my clothes all over the floor, sometimes those soiled underwear ends up buried in the mess and I never really thought anything of it. I sat down today to finally clean my room, and while I was picking clothes off the floor to put in the wash, I noticed one of the soiled panties had some weird dust on it. I thought it was weird, but I just wiped it off and tossed it in the basket. Maybe about an hour later, I'm handling another pair and when I pick it up I notice something moving on it. Of course I'm freaked out and I throw it across the room. Looking closer it's got like 2 little white worm things on it and I guess they were born from / are feeding on my bodily fluids? I don't know what they are for certain, but I do know I bleached the shit out of both those panties before throwing them away. I'm pretty sure I'm traumatized. I keep feeling the need to wash my hands and suddenly the mess I've lived in all my life is unbearable. I'm thinking about it and maybe this is what I needed to turn my life around. Anyway, there's no way I'm telling anyone in my life about this, so I came to Reddit to get it off my chest. Call me nasty or whatever. After this incident I can't even argue. I have donated sperm to my local sperm bank every couple months for the last 7 years. The reason I've donated so much and continue to do so isn't for the money or anything, it's because I fantasize about being a modern-day Genghis Khan, and the idea of most of humanity having me as a common ancestor someday really turns me on. The thought of my seed finding its way into hundreds, or thousands of wombs turns me on too. I have been told many of my samples have been used, so it's happening. I have an untold number progeny out there. I may never meet them, but knowing I will have many offspring is honestly the hottest thing in the world.